What's up, everybody? So I want to say once again, thanks to everyone who's been commenting and subscribing to the channel and liking all the videos. And if this is your first video or the first time you've seen the channel, go ahead and see what you think of it. And if you do, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. But anyways, for this week's video, I just wanted to cover what I think is one of the best options on the Z06. And then I was going to kind of reply to what everyone... Recently, there's been a lot of Z06 videos on the being released on YouTube. I'm not really sure why, but if you guys haven't seen, Salamandrin did a video on it, and then Vehicle Virgins did another video on it. And I don't know whether Vehicle Virgins video was more of a parody, but it did address some of, it mentioned some of the issues that I do think are true to the car, and then it mentioned some stuff that I don't think is necessarily true. Well, actually, I know it's not true, but so that's what I was going to cover. So first thing I want to talk about is the best option, I think, or one of the best options you can get on the Z06, and I think it's well worth your money, and that's the Performance Data Recorder. I don't know if you guys have seen in my previous videos, but I do a lot of overlay with it, and basically it's just a recorder in the car that records, it's kind of like a dash cam, and it records my RPMs, your G's on the tires, your acceleration, etc. Now, the thing that's really special about this, and I don't think a lot of people are aware of it, is that Chevy released a toolbox for it that you download on your computer, and it's called Cosworth. And what you can do with Cosworth is you can compare your lap times, or you can compare basically any type of run with the car. This is a really stupid entrance where I live. It's about a 150-foot span, and it's an exit and an entrance at the same time. So it just always causes backup, and people are just super confused on how to actually use it. But yeah, so it's basically, a lot of people think it's just this dash cam that has an overlay on it, and then you could watch that and kind of get an idea. But it's a lot more than that. Like I said, it's a very detailed file once you put it onto the computer, and you have the Cosworth toolbox released by Chevy. And I think dealers really failed to tell you about that, because I had no idea about it till I later did my research and found out. So like I was saying, it actually records. So another thing I want to mention real quick is if you do go with the LZ1 option on the Z06, it doesn't come with navigation, so you have to jump up to the LZ2. But if you choose to get the PDR in the LZ1, it automatically upgrades to a nav package for the car, because it's required for the PDR. And this is why it's required. So each PDR file actually tracks tracks the car on GPS, and you can actually download. So say you do 2 separate track days, or you do 2 separate laps on the track, and you have it on the PDR was running, you could actually put those on top of, or run them side by side, and it'll show you on a GPS map how you're running on that track. And it'll actually give you really, really detailed graph of how the car is performing and everything, engine temps, all that type of stuff, your revs, which you already have on the overlay. But there's a lot more information in the actual Cosworth toolbox than is present in the actual video overlay. So I'm going to cut to that and show you guys a little bit of that. I have a folder here that shows me all my PDR recordings. I already have 2 selected for this, so I'm going to go ahead and select them from the desktop, because they're basically the same road I drive down sometimes, and that way I can show you what you can really do with this. So unfortunately, I don't know why Chevy doesn't really advertise this as a selling point for the PDR. And just for anyone watching, PDR just stands for Performance Data Recorder. So as you guys see here, I have a recording pulled up right now. Here's the recording. It has a GPS location of it. There's a video, the stats. So it's telling me here my lap time if I were to do laps on the track. Unfortunately, I haven't run laps with the car yet, so I don't have track times or a track recording I could show you. But I will link someone who does, and then you can kind of get a better idea on that. It tells me my max speed during this drive, my max lateral G's, my time on the accelerator, and my time on the brake. So percentage-wise, what's the max I hit with the brake? What's the max I hit with the time on brake percentage? So going here too, and then I can also look at my times on corners and my lateral G's on that corner, my max speed on those straights, and a lot more information, as you see here in the right hand side. And then I can select from the left hand side the exact straight or the exact corner that was occurring at that time. And as you see here, this little arrow is telling me where I am on the map. So if I was to hit video and hit play and then go to my stats, you can see here I'm running this corner. It's telling me my minimum speeds, and then I can actually go to the overview, and it'll tell me what's going on through the data recorder right there. Now, another thing that's really cool about this is I can go ahead and hit here, and then I'll hit this, and I'll select a file. So I'll go to reference recording, and I'll select a secondary file. So here I'm going to open up a secondary file. And what this does now is I have two recordings playing at the same time. And what that's going to do is, if these were both the same track being run, I could go to my overview, or go to stats, sorry, and corners, and you can see that now there's two separate dots on the map here. I'll zoom in, and you can see it's giving me my max lateral G's, and it's comparing the two. One's in blue, one's in orange, and that's the two separate recordings running there. And what I can do is hit play, and now both are running at the same time. If I go to the corners, I can see here, like if this was a track time, you'd see that this car, obviously the orange car, or my orange run, is much further behind than my blue run. So we can also go to the video and move one up or move one forward or back, etc. And then it'll show you kind of more in like comparison to that time. And say you did do two track runs and they were very, very similar, you could actually go to the straights and the corners and see how obviously it's not going to work as well for this because I wasn't running a track or anything, but it'll show you the two cars at that time on the track, and it'll show you what your max speed was, etc. So, you know, if you have like a second difference in track times, you want to see where you made up that second on the track, and this would give you the ability to do so. So that's just something I wanted to mention about the PDR and why it was such a good feature in the car. Not to mention it gives you the automatic upgrade to the GPS in the car. And then you also have, I didn't mention this, but you have valet mode in the new Corvette. And what happens is if you actually activate that when you valet your car, the PDR will record at all times. So if the valet over revs it or something, you would be aware of it. Basically everything would show up in the recording, where the car was taken, all that information, and you can pull it up on here. So just a little heads up on that, and I really recommend, if you do have the PDR and you weren't aware of this tool, to download it. Another quick thing I just wanted to mention is I did start an Instagram. A lot of people were asking me if I did have an Instagram or if I had one dedicated to cars. I didn't, so I went ahead and made this one the other day. A lot of it will be more original posts by me, like the stills. There'll be like you know, some videos from what I do. I'll do some reposts just for everyone who's interested in other car stuff. But as far as it goes, I'll try to keep it mostly original content. So any stills you see will most likely be stills taken by me or a friend of mine. And some of the videos like this one here will be also from us, just because we do attend a lot of events, and we do attend the auctions during the Pebble Beach Concourse. So hopefully this year we'll be covering a lot of that. And like I said in the upcoming videos, hopefully you guys will see that. And if you see stuff on here that you do like, or you know, you're just a car person in general, you like to look at photos, then go ahead and follow the page. And if you guys are enjoying the YouTube channel, do the same. But as far as it goes right now, I don't really associate the YouTube with the Instagram, but vice versa, I am associating the Instagram with the YouTube. So just for you guys who are interested in Instagram information, and I'll probably post a couple things there that I don't talk about on YouTube as far as it goes car-wise. So yeah, check it out, and if you guys like it, just hit the follow button. Now back to what I was saying about the other videos, or all these videos that have recently been being released about the Z06. So one thing that Vehicle Virgins mentioned was, you know, he talked about the roof rattle, how, you know, the interior is kind of cheap. And I think, you know, some of those things are true. And you know, to be honest, I think Chevy was really trying to up the sales for this car, because basically what happened, I don't know if you guys heard about Viper, but it's being discontinued. And that, I think it's really because American cars don't have that same like pull on their customers as Europeans do. And once you start to cross the $100,000 mark, you're starting to like put yourself in competition with European cars. And it's kind of unfortunate. Like, look at the Viper, it's one of the best performing cars, actually out of all cars. I think, you know, if you guys haven't looked at lap times, but it's being discontinued. And I think that's just because the ACR was a $140,000 car, and a lot of people saw that type of price for an American car wasn't worth it. And so I think Chevy was trying to really maintain a low price on this car, hence why they kind of stuck with the automatic, and why they kind of went with a little bit cheaper interior. But by no means is this interior bad in comparison to the old Corvette or the old C6s, if you guys have seen those. And you know, actually Corvette was being threatened to be discontinued by GM if they didn't up their sales this run, so this production run on the C7 body. So that's just kind of I think where they were coming from and keeping, like, you know, certain things down and like the plasticky interior or whatnot. But one thing I do want to talk about is he said that the shifting on the automatic Z06 is slow, and in the low speeds or when you're driving the car like more touring, it is slow. And I think Chevy kind of does this more for their warranty. But when you actually start to rev high and you start to drive the car hard, the shifts are very, very quick. And I don't know if you guys saw my video from about 2 weeks ago when I was at the track, but they're so smooth it almost seems like the car isn't even shifting. And it's much like the PDK, the time between them. And like I said, you know, the two cars I was comparing is the Porsche 997 Turbo S and this one when I was thinking about getting them. And the shift times are, you know, I will say this, you know, they claim this is just as good as the Porsche. I feel like the Porsche is somewhat like quicker, but it's right up there. And unfortunately I'm in a lot of traffic right now, but you know, I can show you the track video, and I'll go ahead and pull that up. And so if you saw there, that's kind of, you know, it's really, really quick. And if I put it in the M mode and did do the paddle shifting, unfortunately, like I said, I'm stuck in traffic. I can't really go or step on it, but it would be quick. It would be instantaneous with the paddles. So that's one thing I just wanted to address. And then one other thing, and by no means am I like a fanboy. You know, a lot of the stuff they were saying, like the roof creak and all that, I 100% agree about. I don't know why Chevy hasn't fixed that, and it's kind of annoying. And they've left it really up to the customers to do, and I actually have a fix for it, and hopefully I'll be doing a video on that a little bit later on. But another thing Solomon Drin mentioned was the steering felt kind of cheap, and really in comparison, I think, to the Porsche and this and some other cars I've driven, like the M6, I don't think that it really does feel that cheap, if cheap at all. So that's just really my take on it. So those are just some of the things I wanted to talk about in this week's video, and hopefully you guys found that informative. And if you guys liked the video, like I had said, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, and I will see you guys next week.
Where are you?